So, folks, we gotta talk about ICE, because ICE is kind of a bunch of bastards. Not gonna lie. But we do have one bit of good news. And I want to play this. This is from about a month ago from Brad Lander, one of the goats of New York City. Let's take a look here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here this morning with Joelle, who's a 16-year-old, lives in the Bronx, who has a check-in with ICE this morning, and we want to make sure it goes smoothly.
Me siento un poco nervioso y estoy agradecido por que hayan venido a acompañarme y me siento un poco mejor.
Joelle was detained by ICE after doing everything just right. He's got special immigrant juvenile status, so he should be able to stay here. But ICE agents have decided that they're going to deport anybody, detain anybody they possibly can, even if they're a 16-year-old kid who's in high school with special immigrant juvenile status, just trying to get back to his high school in time for his history class. It's just appalling. Like, these are jailers of children. Yeah, I mean, I'm here this morning.
Good news on this front, and that is that as of today, Brad Lander announced that Joelle has been released from custody. It did, however, take 21 days to secure his release. And it took multiple organizations and the pressure of New York City's own comptroller in order to make it happen. It is, the news is good here. This was a win. But understand that this is happening all across the country. Not everyone has the amount of people working for them that Joelle did, right? And I mean, ICE is only getting more and more brazen. Here's Greg Bovino, one of the most heinous men overseeing these raids and these arrests and detentions. A man who is utterly and completely proud of the work he does, leading elements of the Gestapo. And it's brazen. Brazen does it in injustice to his commitment to locking up children. It's pathological, really. And here's just a short snippet from Fox News earlier today.
Has gone viral, and I want to get your reaction to it, of landscapers who were being addressed by this individual that you see in the video. What do you say to people when they look at that and say that falls outside of this purview of getting criminals out? What do you say to them?
Martha, do we know the criminal records of those so-called landscapers? Do we know the criminal records of any illegal alien walking the streets here in Chicago or anywhere else?
Do we know the criminal records of those landscapers? I don't know, man. Do you know the criminal records of anyone in ICE these days? I hear they've dropped all standards. They're just taking anyone. Anyone who can string together a couple words and put a mask over their face. I just want to know, man. Do you know the criminal records of any of the people you've hired? No, you don't. Because you're skipping those steps.
What we're finding is child rapists in big box stores looking to go into people's homes or hang those Christmas lights like we see in this video here.
I just want you all to think this through. How exactly would hanging Christmas lights help one to rape children? Exactly. Genuinely insane. This guy is talking about oh yeah, no, we're getting all the child rapists out of here. Are you? Because your president really seems committed to hiding the child rapists. He said it was a big hoax, the Epstein files. But, obviously, maybe some of these landscapers were dastardly child rapists. So obviously you had to detain them without any evidence or a trial. That's what you do when you have evidence of child raping going on. You just don't give them trials, apparently. But not only that, we just covered that in Operation Midway Blitz, with that big televised raid on a gigantic apartment complex where they arrested almost 100 people, we found, thanks to the reporting from ProPublica, that not a single one of those people from that apartment building was charged with a crime. And if the argument here is, well, they're all child rapists, then why aren't you charging them with the crimes? Could it be, and I'm just throwing this out there, that they are not, in fact, guilty of any of this? And in fact, you don't even have evidence linking them to any crimes. You're just using that as a pretext. You are scaring an audience in order to get them to preemptively hate a group of people when there's no evidence of any wrongdoing on their part. It's just so vile, it's evil shit. I would throw out there that Greg Bovino is one of those people, when all of this is over and there are some kind of Nuremberg-like trials, that guy needs to be brought up on some pretty serious charges. Dude's just been going around justifying the kidnapping and ruining of countless lives.
How do you know who these people are? Do they have a criminal record, maybe in their home country?
Again, how do we know who your ICE agents are, man? They're covering up their fucking faces and carrying guns around and abducting people off the street. Fuck you.
Who are these people? Too many times we're finding that some very, very disreputable individuals are seeking work in people's homes, in their gardens, and otherwise. We don't want those people in society. And
you're right. If they are so disreputable that they could have criminal charges filed against them, they should have those charges filed. Except that's not what you're doing, which leads me to believe that that's not, in fact, what is happening. Are you saying ICE is full of shit? Yeah, they need to come up with a different acronym for ICE, because ICE is clear and transparent. These guys are just full of shit.
that's what we're after. And, I think we've done a really good job here in Chicago.
I love that in the conservative worldview, right? This guy right here is supposed to be considered trustworthy. Like, I'm sorry. In the conservative worldview, an armed and masked agent of the state is a welcome sight on your streets? An armed, masked federal agent? You welcome that in your communities? Well, if the president says that they're there for good reasons, oh yeah. Like how the president said we were in Vietnam for good reasons. Well, I support small government. So small government looks like armed federal agents marching down your street, just grabbing people at random with no need for evidence and no rights of due process given to the people they're abducting. Huh. That actually sounds like something that, I don't know, even like 20 years ago, conservatives would have agreed is pretty beyond the pale. But we live in a completely different time. We live in a completely different time, for sure. And I just as a point of evidence in favor of the fact that we do, in fact, live in a different time, I present to you an image of Donald Trump. Here he is. Now, I don't know if any of you can identify what is wrong with this image. But I'll help you guys out. The American flag is on the ground, and he's not respecting the American flag with a salute. And I want you all to understand that the only reason I bring this up is because if this had happened under Barack Obama's tenure as president, this would have been on every single Fox News station 24/7 for the next 3 years. This would be 3 years of constant coverage about how Barack Obama disrespected the flag and, by extension, every single American. But, we live in different times. So let's take a look. What else is happening here? What else is happening? Here's a great little video of ICE being denied service at a taco shop. Let's take a look, shall we?
Bovino and other agents were refused service by the owner last week. The men in his shop were quickly turned away.
Dije yo que
I told him, we're not serving you. I told him this was private property, and he had to leave. When asked why he told Bovino and the agents to leave, he said he did it for his employees.
Estado aquí 3 veces fuera de mi negocio.
They've been here 3 times before. The first time they came, they took an employee of mine. They've caused a scene you'd only see in a movie. That employee is still detained. We're hoping he gets released. Bovino and other...
These absolute audacious sons of bitches arrested an employee here and then came back to order tacos. Like, in their world, like, I don't understand what their worldview must be. Where they're just like, yeah, no, we can totally come back to this place where we, like, destroyed the lives of the people who work here. Because their tacos are just so good. What the hell? Yeah, they kidnapped, they still have that employee in custody. Like, nah, every single place, like, memorize Greg Bovino's face and deny him service wherever the fuck he goes. What a disgusting individual. Is it a power play thing? It has to be, right? Like, it has to be that, like, they're just going back to restaurants where they've detained people in order to order food and just to see if they can, you know? Just to see if they can. Because I do not believe these people are capable of human feeling. All they care about is exercising power. You know, and you'll learn some interesting things if you Google, American police 40%. You'll learn some interesting things. And I have to imagine that in the future, you'll learn some interesting things Googling ICE agent 95%. You know, I just have to imagine along similar lines, you'll learn some interesting things. Because these people do not give a shit about human kindness, compassion, about relating to other human beings on an individually human level. All they care about is asserting their white supremacist power. It's truly, truly disgusting. But it gets worse, folks. And this is why I think ultimately we are going to win. Alright? Ultimately, I think that we, the American people, we're going to throw off the yoke of these clowns.
How many immigrants work in food service? How many pubes, ball sweat, and spit are these agents eating?
God, I hope all of it. Hope like ball sweat is 90% of what they eat. I hope nothing but the worst for all of these agents, because like they are enacting nothing but the worst on the American people. And I want to throw one more thing out there. We are gonna win because anyone who is paying even a millisecond of attention to what is happening out there understands how desperately evil ICE agents and Donald Trump, and by extension, all Republican immigration policy has been. All right? There's one final bit.
Revenge, I farted in Tony Perkins' soup.
Nice. Sanford grandfather born in a refugee camp, nabbed by ICE after 70 years in the United States. 70 years. Paul John Bojerki was born to Polish parents in a German refugee camp after World War II ended. His family legally emigrated to the United States in 1952 when he was 5. More than 7 decades later, the 79-year-old Sanford grandfather, still a man without a country, found himself in legal limbo in the Alligator Alcatraz detention camp in the Everglades, picked up on a decades-old deportation order authorities had previously chosen not to enforce. Bojerki's case is complex and unusual, the most bizarre one his immigration attorney says he has handled in 30 years, but also part of the Trump administration's widespread effort to deport millions of immigrants who it claims lack legal standing to be in the U.S., even those who lived here for decades with full knowledge of immigration officials. The retired optician, because again, This man has lived here for 70 years after emigrating here legally with his family at the age of 5 following the end of World War II. And they sent him to the concentration camp they built in the middle of the Florida Everglades. Yeah, no, guys, they're only getting the bad ones. Don't worry. It's okay. Don't think about the fact that they don't give any of these people a day in court in order to argue their case. Adams moved in with his 82-year-old mother, who has been rocked by her husband's incarceration. Adams is the stepdaughter, Sandy Adams. It's difficult to see her go through so much. She just sits by the phone waiting for my dad to call. ICE has offered no comments in response to questions from the Orlando Sentinel about Bojerski's case. Incredible. He was instructed to return to the ICE office in Orlando on October 30th with travel arrangements, but he could not make such plans as he had no passport and no country to return to. Like, he fled Europe following World War II. He has never been able to get, like, full citizenship. He's never been able to get, like, a passport, etc. He's lived in, like, a weird legal limbo the entirety of his life. And they're like, well, you gotta have plans to go back to your country. And he doesn't have one. That's why the US did not, like, pursue a deportation against this man. How the hell has he not been naturalized over 70 years? That's insane. I mean, it is insane, but, like, I imagine it has something to do with the fact that being born in, like, a diaspora refugee camp following World War II, like, they didn't keep very good records about, like, who deserved what, like, citizenship, and he just never got any, you know? Prior to his incarceration, he was able to walk on his own without assistance, but he is now using a wheelchair. He has had 3 back surgeries for which he's under continued medical care and was scheduled for a spinal procedure on Thursday, which he missed because of the detention. He has also been unable to get his regular medications because, again, the entire premise of how they want to treat undocumented people in this country is with torture. They deny the medical procedures. They deny the medication. They actively torture these people. That is what the United States now does. They're going to kill him. This is horrifying. Yeah. Friday morning, he called to say he has bruises from the guards, Adams said. He fell out of his wheelchair and they left him on the cell floor for hours, she said. He told his family the detainees rarely get hot meals, a complaint shared by others held at Alligator Alcatraz. Still, while he was at Alligator Alcatraz, Bojerski was able to call his wife and stepdaughter daily. Now that he's in Chrome, the calls are less frequent because of the long lines to use the phone, they said. They are torturing these people. They are torturing the diaspora from World War II. Paul John Bojerski was born Zbigniew Janusz Bojerski, a name he swore he never used during his lifetime in the United States, in a displaced persons camp in Lubeck, Germany in October of 1946 to Polish nationals. The family emigrated to New York in January of 1952, and he was admitted as a lawful permanent resident under the Displaced Persons Act of 1948, according to Immigration and Naturalization Service records. He was arrested as a young man in 1966 for larceny and then again in 1967 for receiving stolen goods. While he was incarcerated, an immigration hearing officer in 1968 ruled that those convictions were considered acts of moral turpitude that violated the country's immigration laws. He ordered Bojerski to be deported. But when both Poland, which was under communist rule at the time, and West Germany refused to take him, he was released from prison and remained in the United States. In 1969, he was released from prison after serving his time for the burglary and for receiving stolen goods, and given employment authorization, at which point he turned his life around and has worked as a law-abiding citizen ever since. Oh, sorry. So, like, yeah, it is rage-inducing. He did face one other charge in 1972, and that followed him going off to university where his fraternity and a bunch of his fraternity brothers were accused in court of sexually harassing and assaulting a student. And he was the only one to plead not guilty. Everyone else in the fraternity pleaded guilty. And as such, he does have that conviction on his record. His wife stands by him and says he didn't participate but was arrested along with the others, and he has never trusted the system since then. After doing that, I guess, he was placed on parole for a year and then became an optician for 30 years. Like, yeah, his story is very weird, but, like, he served all of his time. He has no country to be deported to. And, like, I just don't know what to do with this information. I think that this guy is one of the reasons why, like, you know what, if we just take a look at his family here, as racist as it might seem here, seeing a family like this is going to wake up a lot of Trump voters and be like, wait a minute, they aren't actually taking just the bad ones. They're actually taking just anybody. Because, yeah, a lot of Trump voters have that racial, like, bias, you know? But the issue is this policy goes so far and so broad that it's picking up 80-year-old guys. It's picking up, like, 16-year-old Hispanic kids who are here just trying to go to history class. Bold of you to assume Trump voters will see/believe the news. Guys, at some point, they do start seeing it and do start believing it. One of the things I think a lot of people have just convinced themselves of as, like, a conventional wisdom is just that, oh yeah, no, people don't care about any of this. Nothing ever happens. And that's just not true. Like, the Epstein stuff is getting into the Republican mainstream. The ICE stuff is getting into the Republican mainstream. The approval rating Donald Trump has on deportations is way below where it has typically been for conservatives. I was such a naive lib when I was younger, thinking we were post-peak racism. Yeah, Von 400, it's true. Like, we aren't past it. Never were. The argument that we should let our guard down against racism and bigotry is just, you know, it's just to make it easier on the racists and the bigots.
Friendly reminder. White supremacists in the United States did not consider the Polish to be white until recent history, 90s.
It's true. It does start to break through the shell as individual reports make the local news. At some point, a case is going to blow up nationally, unpredictably. Yep. My mom was bigoted against Hungarians until she read that they were racist against Muslims. What? Wait, what? Jesus. I don't understand, like, who has time to waste on being bigoted against any group of people, really. Like, damn. Like, there are kids, like, starving on the street. Like, what are you doing being like, oh yeah, those damn Hungarians? Like, what the hell? Come on. That being said, we have gotten to a point where it's just... Here, let's take a look at this. This is ICE detaining a kid in North Carolina.
Allá en Charlotte, Carolina del Norte.
Why are y'all doing that? What the fuck, guys?
He was running from them.
Yeah, and what was he doing?
Obviously, he was actually illegal.
He was what? What?
Illegal.
How do you know? Exactly.
Excuse me.
How do you know? Exactly.
He just admitted it. That's what we do interviews, ma'am. We do interviews.
Yeah. You know, all those interviews that people do with armed, masked individuals.
I'm sure. Yeah. I really have to.
You might want to disagree.
Go ahead and call. Exactly.
That's not nice.
Fuck you. Well, are you doing nice things?
Absolutely. Making the community safer for you.
Like I'm sorry, you're getting like Midwest like mom going, fuck you. Oh, that's really mean. Are you doing nice things? Like, I'm sorry, we've hit like the weaponization of like the Midwestern mom vibes. You know, like they're like, oh yeah, no, we did an interview with this guy. Trust us, we would never lie. And it's like, nah, man, you just grab someone who's brown. That's it. That's it. People are so fucking angry at these guys that you're getting like, is this like a Whole Foods parking lot or something? Like, you're getting like a lady walking up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 armed officers in masks going, fuck you, buddy. You're not doing very nice things. And like, you know what? That is a bar for some pretty high levels of support against this regime. You know? Like, when you have people on the ground turning out and being like, it just like willing to walk straight up to these guys, not a one fuck given, to tell them to fuck off. You know, we're building up that critical support, and there's still a lot of that critical support left to build up, right? But understand, like, that's a key component of what it takes for us to beat these bastards, right? Because one of the things that I think is a parallel, I saw this cross my feed the other day from Jamel Bowie, right? And it's a quote from Chandra Manning's book, What This Cruel War Was Over, right? And I love this because part of that book, right? That book is a lot about how average people from the North reacted when marching with the Union Army into the South and encountering slavery on that industrialized scale, right? And I'm just going to read this part here because I think it is indicative of kind of what people are currently going through across this country regarding ICE, right? Nothing made slavery's toxicity more obvious to Union troops than its effect on the fundamental unit of society, the family. For one thing, slave sales separated families. In the Upper South, where many Union soldiers were stationed in 1861, about 1 in 3 first marriages was broken by sale, and about half of all slave children were separated from at least one parent. With their own eyes, soldiers saw slavery snap bonds between parents and children. The men of the 7th Wisconsin were awakened by gunshots one November night. The following day, soldiers learned and saw the cause of the alarm in front of 2 black women, a mother and a daughter. The pair had fled to Union lines to avoid the proposed sale of the good-looking daughter into the so-called fancy trade, which soldiers viewed as a form of concubinage. Outraged by the plight and moved by the vulnerability of the mother and daughter, every private in the ranks cursed that system which tramples on the honor of man and makes merchandise of the virtue of women, according to one member of the regiment. When an Iowan encountered a young child about to be sold by her own father, who was also her master, he vowed, "By God, I'll fight till hell freezes over, and then I'll cut the ice and fight on." And I think that's kind of what we need to start seeing among a lot of folks. And I think we are starting to see an escalation of the justified hatred of ICE, the complete rejection of these people, of these agents, of the entire goddamn agency, right? What needs to happen here is for every person of moral fiber and character looking at what is happening here, paying attention to it, and saying, "By God, I'll fight till hell freezes over, and then I'll cut the ice and fight on." I think that is the bar here. And I think that I think that a lot of us here are already at that bar. And I think a lot of people across this country, people who might not have ever thought they were going to be politically active, are also hitting that bar.
I wholeheartedly endorse the use of Revolutionary War and Civil War terminology in this struggle.
Indeed. Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. I very, very much appreciate them. I don't know, that line resonated with me, and as I see all of the ways so many different types of people are coming together to resist ICE in so many different ways, I feel that sentiment building. It is becoming stronger by the day. And I want to say one last thing. I think the kids are going to be all right. Now, why do I say that? This is from Freedom News TV. This is from North Carolina, Charlotte. This is a bunch of protesters and local folks defending one lone guy who sells flowers in their neighborhood. Bunch of goddamn teenagers coming together here.
You better start clearing out! You better start clearing out! You better start clearing out! Let's start throwing gas in here! Hurry up!
Yeah, you're a fucking murderer! Look at that! That little fucking bottle!
Let everything go! Let them alone! Clear out!
Being so big and tough, all armed to the teeth in like camo wear, fucking mask up, trying to threaten these children with fucking toxic gas. Fuck you.
Get out! Fuck you, motherfucker! Fuck you! Fuck you! Where the other one at?
Our city! Get the fuck out of my city! Unnecessary! Get the fuck out of my city!
That's right, they didn't get that flower vendor, by the way. Because turns out, these scared bitches, in their full military gear, with all their guns, with all their chemical sprays and gas canisters, turns out they didn't really want to go into the woods while a bunch of people followed them around, calling them pussy-ass bitches. And, like, I gotta be honest, like, good for these kids and activists. Good for them. Get these fucking losers out of there. These fucking failed, like, slavers. Nah, it's 2025. We don't have room for slavers in our communities. These fucking masked, fucking ass time travelers from the 1850s. Fuck these clowns. It's gonna take everyone in every city to do this? Hell yes. Build up that kind of courage. Build up that kind of power. Build up that kind of community. Because this is what we need. Kick the slavers out. Fuck ICE. And God bless those kids and activists, because, like, brave as hell and showing all of us the way. So with that being said, if you've gotten anything out of this segment, please consider dropping a like, comment, share the video around. And also, please consider joining either your local Democrats or your local DSA to plug yourself in directly into your local politics, because we need to kick these bastards out of our cities. And one of the ways we can help do that is by getting politically active on the local level. Make sure your fucking sheriff's department isn't cooperating with these bastards. And if you need help joining your Dems or your local DSA, you can join our Discord, !Discord, and join up with, or reach out to GamerG for help joining DSA, reach out to Dragonfly for help joining your local Dems. And I think with that being said, I see the fuck the Dems, it's a uniparty. Look, take the fucking party back. I'm not telling you, oh, well, go and kowtow to Chuck Schumer. I'm saying, go fucking steal your local infrastructure from your Democrats. You gotta be in the room. Fucking steal it. Board it like a goddamn pirate ship. If you're like, oh, well, it's a uniparty, then go fucking break it, man. Doesn't do any of us any good to look at that and say, oh man, it's just too powerful. It's just too big. You're fucking looking at Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer and saying they look powerful? Those weak ass losers? Come on. Go and build the political power they fear. If we did that, they'd beat us and throw us in jail. Chuck Schumer's gonna roll up his sleeves and do that? Chuck Schumer, a man who's so terrified of Zoran Mamdani, he can't even say that man's name? Nah. These people are weak and spineless and pathetic. On the local level, you can take it away from them, and then they got nothing left. So go and take it. All you gotta do is fucking show up. It's not a big ask. That being said, let's move on.
Riverboatjack is going to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord.